Razer showed up out of the woodwork to basically try to ergo pill you. If you've never used an ergo keyboard before and you're interested, but you don't want to look like a weirdo, this could be the keyboard for you. It's kind of positioned as like an all-rounder, kind of do it all, be productive, but also have nice wrists. Kind of board that is honestly pretty exciting. And let's just keep it behind this secretive black cloth for a moment longer while we look at what else is in the box. Ah! God, I love this job. Ah! I'm pretty sure there was nothing else in there. This little box though, opens somehow. Look at that. For gamers, by gamers. You get your stickers, see Apple, people are still doing it. Pro Type Ergo, that's the name of this thing. Bunch of spoilers in here of what this keyboard can do, but you know what? We're gonna do it live. And then you get this cable, which you can use to charge this wireless keyboard. Whoop. It's a big long cable. I'd say that's probably 6 feet long because this is my wingspan and, well, don't tell my Tinder profile, but I'm not 6 feet tall. Not yet. Deus hominis. Cool. All right, let's start with just a physical tour of the ergonomics of this thing. The first thing you're gonna notice is this contour. It has, I think, what is a 10-degree slope to it. Makes it look sexy and honestly also futuristic, but also does have an ergonomic benefit, which is it's gonna make your hands less pronated, more like this. When you put your forearm in this configuration, your two bones in there, the radius and the ulna, they actually scissor and they'll pinch tissue in between them. So that helps you not do that, which is good. We have a separate video on this, but they also have a vertical mouse that does that same effect to your forearm. The next thing they have is tilt adjustment. Oh my gosh, on all 4 feet. So they have a foot for 4 degrees and then a second foot for 7 degrees. You know, it's not stupid, but it is unusual. They have feet on both ends. So you could go like this so that the side that's away from you is tilted up. That's actually not ergonomic. That's gonna increase extension, which is not good. You wanna be like neutral like that. But this actually lets you go down the other way. So let's see what that looks like. And do I like it? Let's give it a slight. Oh, that's nice. I'm a 4-degree downhill kind of guy, I think. But if you prefer 7 seems aggressive. Might have to do with your height though. If I think, like if, let's say my chair was way higher, maybe that would be good for me. Personally, I probably would have it flat. One thing you probably noticed when I had that over is this little call out guy. Somehow, there's a USB dongle in here. I love it when there's a little spot to hold these things. There's really no excuse not to on a keyboard. But this is the dongle, so you can connect this wireless keyboard via Bluetooth or 2.4 gigahertz dongle, which is my favorite way.
Big dongle guy?
Big dongle man. Big dongle energy, if you will. It does have an included wrist rest, which has about, I don't know, 2 or 3 millimeters of squish, but I can feel that there is a lip right here, like a frame, like a picture frame around it, that might end up digging in if what's immediately beside it squishes down. This will not squish down. I'm just saying over time. It's not something I'm feeling right now, but over time maybe that would happen. It's cool, you got the Razer logo in there. It looks really nice and profesh. This is not removable. It's nice that it has it. When you buy these separately, they can be expensive, but you know, it's just a trade-off. This is really an all-in-one kind of turnkey Ergo keyboard. Just get your toes dipped in the Ergo world. And there's a bunch of other cool stuff we're gonna look at soon. The next Ergo feature it has is that it's a split keyboard. See that? There's a line in the middle. There's no key right there. It's split. Why do they do that? That's so that your hands can be farther apart and it just opens the shoulders a bit more. The split keyboard also reduces ulnar deviation, which is when your hands go like this. That's no good. So having that split apart just reduces it. Some keyboards are completely split into 2 different modules, and then you can even have them like that if you want. But if you had a tiny keyboard where your fingers are like this, you could see that angle. No good. So this is good. That's comfortable.
You look comfortable. You look really relaxed.
I've used split keyboards before, but what I haven't seen before is a dual B key. Usually you just have to adjust with a split keyboard. The B will be, or the N will be on one side or the other. It's kind of an ambiguous key of which hand you use. But anyway, cool to have 2 B keys. Very accessible keyboard. You don't have to get used to anything. They also doesn't have an ortholinear layout, which a lot of Ergo keyboards do. That's when the keys are not staggered, but instead are right over top of each other. That takes some getting used to for people. This does not impose that weirdness on you. It's kind of plug and play in that way. The second weird thing about this layout is there is a extra space bar kind of in the middle between the left and right space bars. You got 3 space bars for the price of 1. Having more than 1 space bar is attractive to me because I love thumb clusters in my Ergo keyboards. Your thumbs are the strongest digits, and on the keyboard I use at my desk, I've got like backspace and delete and enter and space all reachable for my thumbs. I use them all the time. It's awesome. That's probably the main reason I'm not switching off that board ever. This here is bound by default to space, space, and the middle one is backspace. The keycaps are laser etched. They're not double shot. They are ABS plastic. I guess there's a chance this legend could come off eventually. Looks fine today. They are low profile. The key travel is not very much. And they're not mechanical. They're scissor switches with membranes. You might go ick about that. However, there's millions of people in the world using scissor switches like anyone with a MacBook. So they're a bit mushy. They feel okay, and they are tactile. There's a little tactile bump in there I can feel like, Lower profile to ensure faster typing and reduce strain. This keyboard has a 1000 hertz polling rate. It has end key rollover, which every keyboard does, and it's compatible with both Mac and PC. There's a knob over here, feels very good and tactile. It also clicks. There's another one just like it over here. I really do like the knurling on that. It looks pretty sweet. There are macro buttons over here, 5 of them, and 3 other buttons. This one looks like it has to do with battery level. This one says AI. I don't know what this one is, just has a circle on it, but they're very tactile. There's also a nice toggle switch for on off and a USB-C port for charging. And now it's on, you can actually see the RGB, which has 19 different zones. Oh, it's cycling through colors right now. Cool. Brightness is on function up here. Okay. This RGB is getting me all sorts of hot and bothered. Let's plug it in, let's use it. It's right after this message from our sponsor.
Attention, soldier! It's time to take the wheel of one of the thousands of tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships of 10 major nations that are in War Thunder, the most comprehensive vehicle combat game. Whether you're a PC gamer or prefer consoles, it's even on mobile now! Every vehicle is designed after their real-world counterparts, and it shows in the realistic graphics and authentic sound effects. Like that! Play War Thunder for free on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and mobile using the links below. Hey, new to the game or returning after 6 months? You'll get a massive bonus pack on PC and consoles packed with vehicles, boosters, and more. Claim your bonus and start playing today. See ya on the battlefield.
We're back, we're set up. I am using this chunkiest Ergo mouse. Honestly, I don't love the way it feels in the hand at first blush, but it's ergonomic. Let's do a typing test and see how slow I am at typing, and if this keyboard makes me any slower. Now I embarrass myself. Old thing shows still. I don't even want to type all this. I feel like I get it. Oh no. Hey, 60 words per minute. You know what? That's fine for me. I know you guys are like, I'm 80, I'm 120. But yeah, this felt fine. There were a couple things that would take me a little bit to get used to, because remember, I have an ortholinear keyboard at my desk. The keys are all shifted a bit. But I think for most people, this feels pretty good, and there's not a lot of learning curve. Moving on, we are using Razer Synapse on the browser. I really hope everything goes well with it, because if it's satisfactory, then we never have to download the bloatware to your desktop. That's awesome. No compatible devices found. Desktop wins, guys, I'm sorry. The browser version is technically still beta, so all right, maybe it'll get better. So there's a bit to take in. First, app profile. So app profile seems to be what these macro keys are bound to. There are default profiles that come with the keyboard. You can see them in here. Razer presets. This is what it comes with. Razer or whoever, maybe the third-party software, they've curated what these buttons do for you. You don't get to choose. However, you can add your own profiles, and I believe you could change what, say, Photoshop does if you remove it here and then add it again. I'm not gonna do that now, but I think that's how it works. You can switch profiles 2 different ways. You can have auto switching enabled, which is what this setting is. And then what that does is it looks at the context of what you're doing and switches profiles accordingly. So I open Illustrator and it loads up the Illustrator profile. I tab over to Photoshop, it loads up the Photoshop profile. You also can switch it from auto switching to manual, where you just set it and it's gonna be your Illustrator or your Chrome profile all the time. So let's go manual selection on Chrome. Go over to Chrome and see what she does. M1. Okay, that's switch tabs. M2. Also switch tabs. It's probably like left and right through them. So let's just open a couple more. Yeah, boom, boom, boom. Cycle that way, cycle that way. M3, new tab. M4, close tab. M5, open a new browser window? Oh, reopen close tab. So that's the same as Control-Shift-T. Wow, you don't need hotkeys. Next, there's the command dial, which is the one on the left. So it can adjust multiple different settings. You switch between settings by clicking it, and you adjust the setting by twisting it. As you click it, it goes next, next, next. But if you skip the one you want, you can hold Shift and click it and it goes back. You can turn on some other presets that they've put in here, like horizontal scrolling. That's actually sweet. If your mouse does not have a horizontal scroll wheel, you're probably used to holding down Shift and using your mouse wheel. Instead, you could just go zip, zip, zoo, zip, zip, loo. Or you can add your own. What kind of modes can you add? Cool, so you can pick from keyboard functions, mouse functions, the brightness, multimedia things, Windows shortcuts. Requires Razer Synapse. Isn't this Razer Synapse? Must be, oh, Razer Synapse must be running to use this function. It's not stored as part of any onboard memory profiles. I don't think there is onboard memory on this device. So that would mean if you wanted to take this with you to a friend's house or something, you would also have to get Synapse on that device and log into it and connect to this keyboard for your stuff to come with you. Not as cool as having onboard memory. The other dial over here is for volume. I'm not sure if you can change it, but it's good to have a volume knob. So if you look at this graphical keyboard layout over here, as I mouse over different keys, the ones that are green, if I click on them, you can change. But there are some, when I mouse over them, that are gray, and you can't change. Now let's see about our space bars. I wanted to know if I could remap them to whatever, right? So, oh, it's gonna do key recording. So if I just go like rebind to delete and save, now my left hand is just gonna be backspace and delete. And you Apple people, you don't even know what delete is. It's backspace, but the other way. I'm gonna blow your mind here. I write James, I put my cursor in the middle. I use my middle space to go back, and I use my new delete key to go delete forward. It works. Thumb clusters, guys. Is this my new keyboard? Probably not, maybe. This is cool. You can choose what the function keys do by default. So commonly the F keys have 2 layers on them. You tap them, they do something. You hold down function and tap them, they do something else. What this setting is which one of those is default and which one requires you to hold down. So that's awesome, because if you are always using the emoji button and you're rarely actually using F5 and F6, you could change it so that it by default does those things and you don't have to hold function. That's pretty cool. There's this hypershift thing. So annoying, actually. This is what took me the longest to figure out. It tells you enjoy an extra set of buttons using the Razer Hypershift key, which it turns out on this keyboard is just the function key. It doesn't even have a special picture. It's just function. Annoying, but if I pop out this little window here, you can see that between standard and Hypershift, it's basically a whole other layer of keyboard that you can customize. So cool. Then there's the lighting section, but most of the effects, other than these simple ones, are done inside the Chroma app, a separate app. Get wrecked. I'll stick with just breathing. Now, I never did touch these knobs up here during the physical tour, but the first one is battery level. If you press it and it's green, that means your battery is, I think, above 50%, it means it's full. If you press it and it's yellow, you got 50%-ish, and if it's red, you need to charge. This is a multimedia, kind of multi-function button. If I click it while YouTube is playing, it pauses. That's cool, okay. And then you've got the AI button. What the hell is that? Let's one-click it. It launched this little window where I can choose my AI engine between Copilot and ChatGPT. Sorry, Claude. And I basically just have some like chatbot shortcuts like summarize, rephrase, and compose email. There's also a tab for images versus text. Thankfully, you can rebind it to whatever you want in Razer Synapse, but you must have Razer Synapse. Battery life, they're saying 3 months. I think it charges at 5.5 hours. 3 months obviously is gonna be with like probably the lights off, stuff like that, like ideal test conditions. But that's plenty long. Honestly, if it lasts a week, whatever. Plug it in on Friday nights. So yeah, I'm happy with that. What is the price, Brad? US dollars, please.
$89.99 US.
190 US. 190 US is a lot of money. It's a lot for a keyboard. You can get a mechanical keyboard on Amazon for like 30 bucks. It's not a lot for an Ergo keyboard. Some of those are mega expensive, like $400. And a lot of the Ergo keyboards out there are 10 keyless for whatever reason. Like the Ergo Docks, for example. They're these awesome split keyboards, they're very cool, but they all assume you want like a 40% or 60% keyboard. This really checks a lot of boxes. It is a great all-rounder. You got your numpad, you got all these dials, you got macros, and you have at least an introductory version of the Ergo features. Like it's split, it's not super split. I can't move the modules wherever I want. It has tenting, it's only 10 degrees and I can't adjust the tenting. Looks professional, looks cool. You can turn off the RGB if you think that's icky. So I think it's a great all-rounder. And I think $190 for it is defensible at least. And they throw in this AI button for free. You know, that's worth 3 trillion. Thanks for watching ShortCircuit. ShortCircuit, thanks for, we have another video on this mouse.